Hello, Toastmasters. My love for the English language was inspired by Brother Hobart, a missionary from Ireland. Imagine me as a student in Bangladesh listening to somebody from Ireland speak English properly. I was awestruck. I would listen to him for hours. I literally would follow him and look for excuses to talk to him. And he noted this. He noticed this love, and he encouraged me to write more because he knew that without writing and without speaking, we could never be better. He also became the coach of our debating team and encouraged me to join the debating team. Because of him, I was able to learn English properly from a very early age. Now, this becomes significant when I reach the 8th grade, because that grade was almost the end of my educational journey. Here's what happened on the very first day in 8th grade. Right after lunch break, a brand new teacher walked into the classroom and introduced himself. I'm Robin Rosario. I passed my HHE from Notre Dame College and my BHE from Notre Dame College. Sorry, sir? What did you say, sir? Someone asked. I am Robin Rosario. I passed my IHE and BHE from Notre Dame College. We got your name, sir, but what did you study in college? So he wrote it out on the board. ISC and BSc, Intermediate in Science and Bachelor of Science. The entire class roared with laughter. The teacher was angry. What is so funny? You need to behave. Who is the class monitor? The class monitor stood up. I want you to write down the names of all the students who are naughty and disrespectful and give me the names at the end of the class. However, we had also been learning democracy. So the next day, we put our learning in action. We recalled the class monitor and elected someone who would not squeal. One of our naughtiest friends, nicknamed Jolly because of his ever-present smile. No one would ever believe that this guy could be naughty. The next day, during the lunch break, we stacked the ceiling fan blades with little pebbles and lots of crumpled paper. And as soon as the teacher turned the fan on, the students dove under the table. The pebbles and crumpled paper flew all over the room. The teacher went red with rage. Who did this? Monitor, I want the names. Jolly stood up. Sir, it must have been some naughty boys who came in during the lunch break. No names were submitted. So looks like our plan was going to work. So we got a little bit bolder. We had just discovered Playboy. Someone brought in some pictures. So we hung it up on the class bulletin board. We wanted everybody to learn. The teacher went wild with anger once again and tore off all the pictures, but no one ratted on anyone. So the next day, we decided something even bolder. Someone brought a white rat to class. We needed an excuse to shut the door, so I stood up. Sir, the sun is blinding me. Can I shut the door? Yes, you can. Soon the little white rat was released in class, and everyone started squealing and climbing on the desks and getting away the floor. The teacher started to run after the rat. After some time, he succeeded in stomping on the rat and killed it. So the next day, we built a memorial for the rat on the teacher's desk. And on the board, we wrote in big letters, RR the rat killer. That was the last straw. The teacher complained to the principal, and the principal wrote a letter to the class. Either you give the names to the naughty boys or the entire class will be rusticated, meaning we would all be expelled, the entire class. Now we had a real problem in our hands. So just like any good leader, we all huddled. Finally, we had a plan. We would have to collect all the best students in English and write an apology letter that would impress the hell out of the principal. Since I was the best English in English, I had to draft the letter for initial letter. We put in words we knew even the principal would have to look up in the English dictionary. We put in language that would make Shakespeare tremble in his grave. The apology letter worked. The principal was so impressed with our apology letter and our approach, he decided to give us a second chance. And he's told us, this is your final chance to be respectful. But this time, we complied. So here I am, able to tell this story to you about how my English teacher saved my life. I'm sure many of you have similar stories from your own teenage years, and I'm hopefully looking forward to listening to those someday soon. But I wanted to share this particular amazing story about how a mentor that early in my life set me on the right path to success by teaching me the English language properly. Thank you very much.
So next we will move on to our second evaluator, and that is Oscar Zalamia, and he is doing an evaluation on our president, Mr. Dr. Mansur Hasib. Oscar.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Dr. Mansur, wow. I always thought you were a saint. You were quite a troublemaker when you were in 8th grade. But that story was amazing. It was revealing. It was honest. It was intrepid. But it worked because of the 3 areas that you really excelled at in giving us that story. The first one was you're a good storyteller. The way you presented the speech was entertaining. I like that you use an accent to talk about Robin Rosario. By the way, was she Filipino? Sounded like a Filipino accent to me. I also like that the story had a message. It tied nicely into Toastmasters because it talked about respect. It talked about the use of words and language. It talked about vocabulary. I like that you use fusticated. I learned a new word. And the story flowed really well from the beginning all the way to the end. I do have some suggestions to enhance your speech. It would have been nice to show props, perhaps pictures, not necessarily the Playboy, but maybe show pictures of Brother Hobart, or maybe just animated graphics or cartoons of how you put the pebbles and the paper on the fan. That can be done with technology. Or maybe a picture of that white rat, the memorial you put together for the rat killer. That would have been interesting. The second thing is you talked about the apology, the letter of apology. It was Shakespearean. Give us a sampling of what you wrote in the apology letter. That would have been nice to listen to. And then the third one is the title. You gave away everything with your title when you said my English teacher saved my life. Maybe make it mysterious. Perhaps you could use the title Saved by the Bell or Almost Sophisticated. But all in all, I thought your speech was outstanding. You definitely are an advanced speaker. You've used all the skills that you've learned in Toastmasters in making a speech very interesting, very informative, and having a good lesson, a good takeaway for us. Back to you now, Madam General Evaluator.